Good evening and welcome to James Dollard Field on the campus of Honeoye Falls-Lima for Section 5 football live on the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. Today we have the Bishop Kearney Kings visiting the HFL Cougars. Kearney in search of their first victory this year after a tough loss to Batavia last week. The Cougars coming off of a shutout victory on the road against Newark. Alongside me tonight, I'm Peter Carosa, and alongside me tonight is Steve Bradley. So, Steve, what do you think we're going to see tonight between these two teams?
Well, Peter, I think there's a good chance the ball will be in the air a lot. Both teams like to spread it out and try to find the balance there. The Cougars did a great job last week balancing the run and the pass. The biggest problem that the Kings had were turnovers and penalties. They also suffered an injury to one of their captains at the end of the first quarter that really was detrimental to them when they lost Jimmy Walker. But they also didn't have a scrimmage to start the season. And a lot of times in football, the biggest improvement is between week 1 and week 2. And I think both teams are looking to be better tonight.
Yeah, I think the key thing is this is the second game. We had a chance to talk with Coach Russ earlier this week, and he said, quote, you can really measure how good your team is based on their performance between week 1 and week 2. And that's especially true for this HFL team who had 8 players on the varsity basketball team who lost the Class A2 championship 2 Saturdays ago. So they only had 1 full week of practice before last week's season opener. So they're only 2 weeks of practices down coming into tonight. So a little bit different, a little bit reduced schedules, obviously the COVID situation. So it's certainly going to be interesting to see how these two teams try and rebrand and improve from week 1 to week 2. I know what you're thinking. It's March. It's weird. But actually, if you look at the light we have here tonight, the sunlight, the daylight, we're actually about lined up as if it was the 3rd week of September. So kind of like fall. It's a nice warm day, approximately 52 degrees right now, mostly sunny. It's going to probably cool down as the game progresses, but I think it's going to be certainly a good one, Steve.
I hope so. I think that both teams will be better this week. And, Batavia did a great job today against Wayne, so Bishop Kearney might be better than that score indicates.
Yeah, certainly, and we'll talk maybe a little bit about some of those games that were played earlier today as this game progresses. We talked about a reduced schedule, so each team only playing 6 games this year because of COVID, and on top of that, sectionals are reduced by 1 round. So only 4 teams are going to ultimately qualify for the playoffs this season, so every week is going to be a little bit more important than usual, so it's going to be certainly interesting, and these two teams, like I said, every week matters. So a win for either of them is going to be very, very important for the standings.
For sure. I mean, you don't want to be 0-2, so Bishop Kearney, Rochester Prep, Rochester Academy Charter is trying to avoid that. But if you're the Cougars, the chance to go 2-0, there's only one other team that's 2-0. So if there's only 2 2-0 teams after week 2, you've got to like your position. You can't be any better heading into week 3, which would be the midpoint of the season.
So we are going to have the national anthem here sung tonight by the HFL Select Choir. So both teams are removing their headgear for tonight's national anthem. There will be live one played here, sung at the facility, but we will play one over the air.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
And with that, the national anthem has been sung. So one last thing I want to add here before the captains come out for the coin toss is Bishop Kearney is a combined team between Bishop Kearney, Rochester Prep, and Rochester Academy Charter, which, Steve, you let me know that is a unique partnership. You want to speak a little bit about how that setup works?
Sure. Bishop Kearney, as we know, is a private school, and they were having some problems with numbers when Rick Gauss came on board as the coach 4 years ago, so he needed to get creative. So they have a partnership with 2 prep schools, the only one in Section 5. So Rochester Prep and Rochester Academy Charter are all part of this team, and Coach Gauss says that the team really is equal parts from each contributor, which isn't always the case in these combined merger situations. And he says if you were in the Kings locker room, you would not know which school each player went to because they have melded that well.
Yeah, certainly. There's 2 players on this HFL team that's all familiar with that. Honeoye Falls plays on a combined hockey team with a couple of different schools, including
Brighton,
East Rochester, Brighton, and I believe Wayne as well, potentially. So it's something that is common in certain sports.
So we've got the captains going out for the coin toss for Bishop Kearney. It's quarterback Xavier Ross, and representing the Cougars is running back Jacob Derby, who had 4 touchdowns last week, Peter. He got off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, like you said, he did come off a fantastic start. He was the first HFL player since, I believe, week 4 it was last year for an individual Honeoye Falls-Lima Cougar player to score 4 touchdowns in a game.
So the Cougars win the toss and they'll defer, so I think we'll be seeing them on defense first, Peter.
Yep, it looks like you are correct. Cougars will kick. So the kicker for HFL will have to pay attention to this. There's a couple different names that have been shuffling through the lineup given.
I see 21 going out there.
Okay.
There's our guy.
So, yeah, that was the question coming into this game. Who would be kicking for HFL? So we mentioned we're playing in March because of COVID. So there's guys who are typically playing other fall sports that aren't eligible to play football, playing football this spring. One of them being Xavier Carbonell for the Cougars. He should have both the kicking and punting responsibilities tonight.
So one thing, Peter, to watch, turnovers were really a bugaboo for Bishop Kearney last week, especially on special teams. They turned the ball over 4 times in their own zone, in their own side of the field near the red zone, and a couple times were on kickoff. So let's see if the ball security is improved this week. We talked about week 1 to week 2 improvement. Special teams, we should get an early look to see if the Kings have tightened that up.
Yep, so we have both teams out now on the field. This kickoff is brought to you by HFMP. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. So here we go, the whistle and the kick, and off we go. Line drive kick goes right to number 9 for Kearney, and he's going to be tackled about the 25-yard line. Jaquel Johnson was tackled there by, I believe, 57 for the Cougars. That's, I believe, Nolan Yates.
Yeah, great tackle the Cougars got down there on special teams, and decent field position for the Kings to start outside of the 25, but Jalik Johnson has great speed, and to keep him from getting outside was a good job by the kickoff coverage unit.
So out onto the field trots the Kings for their first offensive possession of the game. They're led by sophomore quarterback Xavier Ross, third-year varsity player despite being only a sophomore. He'll come out into the gun to start the game. He'll fake the handoff, fires a pass to his left, and that's going to be tackled at about the 39-yard line for the Kings. That was number 11, Javi Flowers, the 6'4", 175 junior, with the first down reception. So right off the bat, Kings come out aggressive and pass downfield.
Yeah, that's kind of what we thought we would see, and Ross looking good pocket presence there, and Flowers. Coach Gauze couldn't say enough good things about him this week.
So this time the Kings will go with a run. Minimal pickup for about 1 yard.
Nice assignment football there by the Cougars. I think 58 might have been down at the bottom of the pile there.
Yeah, that's junior Mitchell Bowling, who's really stepped up as a leader on both the offense and defensive line for the Cougars.
He did a real good job minimizing contain there and keeping that short gain.
So another pass play goes off the fingertips, but he ultimately brings it in. That's what we'll call the H-back position, number 44, Shia Patton.
Nice catch there. Good job staying with it. It looked like the play was a little bit off schedule. The Cougars were in the backfield. Great defense. Got a 5-yard loss there, so it'll be 3rd and 15 for Bishop Kearney.
Yeah, like you said, 3rd and 2 sticks, so it'll be interesting to see if the Cougars can maybe force a stop here to get the ball back. Snap here goes to Ross. He'll fire it deep, and it falls harmlessly to the turf. It was nearly intercepted there by the Cougars, but that'll stop the clock here with about 10:22 to go in the first quarter. Bishop Kearney will bring the punting unit out onto the field.
And I believe that will be Flowers again. Nice job by the Cougars regrouping after giving up a first down on that play. Got the Kearney offense off the field, and we'll see what HFL can do when they get the ball here.
Yeah, certainly it seemed like the Kings went with a little bit quick tempo, not a whole lot of time in between snaps. But ultimately that negative play certainly hurt them as we have a flag. Referee counting this one might be too many men on the field.
That's never a good sign when you see the referee pointing his fingers and doing math. They're still talking about it right now. But you know somebody's job in the huddle is to count, and you've got to have 11. 11's the magic number every play.
Yeah, and maybe you have an excuse if this was week one of those, mistakes that, hey, we haven't had that much time practicing special teams. But once week 2 rolls around here, you got to maybe try and clean that up a little bit better. So moves the Cougars back a little bit further. So now it's going to be about 4th and we'll call it 18 for the punt. Flowers gets an end-over-end punt off, takes a nice bounce there in favor of the Kings, and it's going to be scooped up by the Cougars along the sideline.
Was that Patrick Lustig with a real nice job keeping in bounds and getting some extra yardage? He showed some nice balance and coordination, and I think the Cougars are going to be out close to the 40 when they start.
Yep, so out trots the HFL offense. Looks like there was a flag, potentially an illegal block by the Cougars. We'll have to see what gets called here by the men in the zebra stripes tonight. Yep, we do have a legal block in the back on HFL, so that'll push them back a couple before they start this first drive.
So that's not the start you want if you're Coach Ross. 15-yard penalty there. That you're still at your 25, but the 40 looks a lot better at 25 on your first drive.
So the Cougars will set up 4 receiver set. Trips to the top of your screen. Derby shifts in motion, and it's a screen pass to start. That's to Colt Green, who's got some blocking downfield. Will pick up a first down, and he's tackled about the 40-yard line. So like you mentioned in the pregame, we were going to see a lot of passing. Both teams with their first play, they throw the ball.
And that was just a great job by HFL. You want that start. You're coming off a penalty, a setback. And first play, it's almost like an extended handoff. You get the ball to Green, and he got outside, and he made a couple of moves, and the sticks have moved, and here they come.
So 1st and 10 for HFL. Join again from the shotgun, sends Derby in motion. And this time it's a sweep to the near side here. Derby able to fall forward he's still on his feet, in fact, and then he ultimately goes down at about the 45-yard line. Gives the Cougar faithful here something to cheer about.
2 plays, 2 first downs. That's a great start. You love the tough running there by Jacob Derby. He probably could have been stopped 7 or 8 yards. So it's yards after contact, and that's the thing coaches always love to see.
Yeah, Jacob Derby, the 5'10", 175 senior, is the workhorse for this HFL offense. So again, with a lot of receivers split out wide. Joint still operating out of the gun, and again, Derby in motion, and flags flying. It looks like Reese Joint able to get somebody from Bishop Kearney to jump on the hard count.
Yep, and last week when I watched Kearney on film, they did a really nice job against Batavia making some negative plays, but they gave back too many, and that's what we saw right there. 1st and 5 is for the Cougars. Coach Russ might get creative here. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a shot.
Yeah, and that's something Russ had mentioned to us before the game when we spoke to him, going from week 1 to week 2, maybe open up the playbook a little bit more, trying to bring some more complex offensive plays in. So 1st and 5 for HFL. And we got a delay of game against HFL. So right after the penalty against the Kings, the Cougars will match them 5 yards, and we'll be right back where we started 2 plays ago.
Little Maxine Nightingale, right back where we started. That's an early season mistake, and we talked about both teams wanting to clean things up from week 1 to week 2. This first drive, they both showed signs that they're not all the way there yet.
And that's one of the challenges at the high school level. You don't have a play clock anywhere in the facility, not until you get to college. So as a play caller, you have to be, as a quarterback, you got to be paying attention to the back judge. As we have a run on 1st down by Derby, and that'll be a pickup of 5.
Nice job by the guys up front there. Derby had a nice hold to run in the middle, and I think that if the Cougars can mix the pass and the run like this, they're gonna have success tonight.
Speaking of the line, the Cougars have on their starting lineup number 58 Mitchell Bowling at left tackle, left guard 54 Samuel Miller, their center Carson Joint, their right guard Mitchell Greer, and their right tackle Charlie Kirby. And a run play again for the Cougars, and it looks like they're going to get back just to the line of scrimmage. Another rush for Derby. And yes, if you recognize the center's last name, Joint, he is the younger brother of quarterback Reese Joint.
And Peter, real nice play there by Juwan Perry, the defensive end for Kearney. He shed the blocker, and he made sure that Derby wasn't going too far. And he's one of the stalwarts on this Kearney defense. He's a number that we might be calling very frequently.
So 3rd and 5 for the Cougars. 2 running backs in the backfield. And again, some movement.
And I think that's going to be a 1st down. I think that they march that 5 off, and it's going to give the Cougars a fresh start.
Yeah, during the NFL season, we saw a lot of penalties, and some could attribute that to the lack of noise in the stadiums. Tonight, we only have 2 spectators allowed per athlete. So we don't have the entirety of the Cougar freight train that's typically here at Honeoye Falls. So still loud, but,
I think there's a few cowbells on hand, though. Maybe you can bring multiple cowbell.
Yeah, I don't know what the cowbell per attendee is, as we have another run. This time it's going to be Zachary Meacham for the Cougars, the 6'2", 180 junior.
And another nice 1st down play for Honeoye Falls-Lima. I think they're getting 5 yards of carry, and that really helps things get settled down. Guys up front are doing a nice job, and running backs are being patient and picking their holes.
Yeah, a season ago they had Farrar, who was definitely a big home run running back. This style offense for the Cougars, like we saw last week, similar as well, where it's a little bit more methodical. You're not trying to score all in one play. Granted, they had the 65-yard touchdown screenplay last week. As another whistle.
Timeout.
So that is a timeout called by HFL. Do you need a timeout? Take a break with Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe located at 58 North Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Coffee, espresso, smoothies, shakes, paninis, salads, pizza, and more. Be sure to check out their daily specials on Facebook. So special thank you to everybody at Main Street Cafe for being one of tonight's sponsors.
Peter, you were talking about Reese Joint, and one of the cool things about him this year is he's competing in his 4th varsity sport already. And he did soccer in the fall, which he wouldn't normally do because of football, swimming and basketball in the winter, and football in what they're calling fall 2. And he's planning on playing baseball. I mean, what a great opportunity. COVID's been rough on all of us, but at least some of these athletes across Section 5 will have neat stories to tell moving forward and getting to try new things.
Yeah, I do not know if there's ever been a 5-sport athlete at HFL. Certainly we'll call it in the modern era, and I don't know if we'll see one again, but Reese Joint is going to hopefully end up being one of those guys in Section 5 who are able to compete on 5 different varsity teams, as Colt Green is the man in motion, and Joint's going to fire deep, and he's got a man. It's caught. Touchdown. Touchdown, HFL. Reese Joint fires a strike to, I believe, Colt Green, the man who was in motion there for the Cougars.
Well, that timeout certainly worked. They got the play they wanted, the look they wanted, and Reese Joint just threw a fantastic ball that Green ran under and made a great catch in the end zone.
Yeah, great play there by the Cougars, results in them finding the Meehan Architecture end zone. So out trots the point after attempt team. Hold kick is up, and it's good. And that is, in fact, number 21, Xavier Carbonell for the Cougars. That's his first extra point attempt made in his young career here at HFL.
Talking about opportunities, right? That's great to see. A lot of times there's been soccer-style kickers that have gone on to success at very high levels. Gary Anderson from Syracuse to the NFL to Pittsburgh and being one of the all-time leading scorers is a great example. But I think that's happening a lot across Section 5, and some of these athletes sampling things, and the extra point is never, the kicked extra point is never a sure thing in high school. And if you have somebody reliable like that with a strong leg, gives you an extra weapon that you can use in a lot of ways.
So the Cougars strike first, and they lead it 7-0. And we'll have another kickoff, which is, of course, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside delivery is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. And the kick is out. And here we go.
Great return there. Jalik Johnson got some momentum, and that's probably a 25 return. And good job by the Cougars keeping it to that, because if he gets in open field, he's going to be tough to catch.
Yeah, nice starting field position for Bishop Kearney. So we'll have to see how they respond after the HFL touchdown.
I think the key here for the Kings is just to stay patient and not let one score force you out of your game plan. I think that they have a solid plan. They wanted to hang in the game and keep it close, and then, almost like a prize fight, keep in as long as you can, and then maybe at the end try and make the big play to win it. So getting behind by one touchdown is manageable, but I don't think they want to fall behind by much more and be chasing tonight.
So this time Ross is going to operate from the I formation, and we have a run play by number 32. That's Rashawn Beeston, the 5'10", 185 junior for Kearney.
And a nice job there by the Cougars. Number 57 was right there to make the play, and his name's not. I'm not seeing his number pop up right away, but nice tackle there by 57.
So they'll call it a gain of about 2. So we'll have 2nd and 8 here for Bishop Kearney. Again, still in that I formation, loading up the box. Trying the old power formation, as this time we have a fullback dive.
Great job by the middle of the line there to make that play.
Yeah, Patton was pretty much swallowed up right away.
And here the Kings are in 3rd and long. It's a situation that they had frequently last week at Batavia. Had minimal success, so they're going to be looking to make a play here to keep the clock running and keep the ball in their possession.
So while the Kings huddle, HFL awaits them to line up here. This time the Kings come out in shotgun formation, and we got a wide receiver on the far side. That's number 12, I believe, for the Kings. Jawan Perry split out wide. So that'll be a 5-yard penalty. Mark the Kings back. So it'll be 3rd and 13. About 4.5 to go in this first quarter of play.
And that 57 is Nolan Yates, so we want to give credit where credit is due in that previous play. But now it's 3rd and 2 sticks, as you said, so it's a little more challenging for the Kings.
So Ross just kind of throws it deep again, looking in the same vicinity as he did on their first drive on 3rd down, and again falls harmlessly to the turf. So again, that's now 2 times that the Kings are unable to convert 3rd and longs. A week ago, that's sort of what plagued their offense. They were able to get good yardage against the Batavia Blue Devils, but then when it came to those 4th and 3rd down conversions, they just couldn't make it happen.
Right, and you can't. It's hard to get rhythm when you don't get first downs, and right now that's what they're seeking. And Ross has a lot of talent. I think they just need to make some positive plays and get some confidence.
So here's Flowers for the punt, and he makes sure that he only has 11 on the field. And a muffed punt by the Cougars, but they're able to recover it. That's number 6 for HFL. Patrick Lustig, the return man, so avoids a disastrous turnover there. The Cougars actually muffed a punt a week ago, so nearly a repeat back there, but Lustig able to cover it up and retain possession.
The Cougars did a really nice job last week against Newark of not letting their mistakes derail them. It was a 34-0 margin, and they, life is sometimes like that. It's 10% what happens to you and then 90% how you responded, and they responded very well last week.
So first down for HFL. Bunch to the bottom of your screen. Looks like maybe a broken play for HFL, and that one's going to bounce and then go into the arms of Derby. So that was maybe some of those intricate plays that Coach Russ was trying to bring into this HFL offensive game plan, and it looked like it was kind of just broken from the start.
It did. It looked like the timing was off, and in the end, probably an incomplete pass. It might have been better than some of the other outcomes that were possible. It looked like it would have been very difficult for Derby to gain any yardage there. So the ball hits the turf, and you start over 2nd and 10, looking just to make some positive play here, get some yardage.
So again, operating out of the same formation, HFL. And it looks like it might have been the exact same play as before, which was a triple option that ultimately got pitched to Lustig for the Cougars.
Yeah, that little inside shovel pass, it's not dangerous, and it was really effective. The Cougars were able to overcome that first down miscue and get a first down and get very close to moving into Bishop Kearney, Rochester Prep, Rochester Academy Charter School territory. So very nice response there.
Yeah, and again, HFL, very methodical in their offensive game plan, just trying to chip away and move down the field as they have, like you said, a first down at approximately midfield. So Wazenreed, the man in motion, joint's going to fire, and that nearly intercepted.
Yeah, that's one that I think the Kings would want to have back. That one went right through the arms of number 11, Javi Flowers. And if he catches that play, Peter, he's got green in front of him. We might be looking at 7-6 with a chance for Bishop Kearney to tie.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of green in front of him there. Could easily have been a house call. Reese Joint's got to fine-tune that pass a little bit. So, in any case, we'll have 2nd and 10 for HFL.
And I think that one thing that you really need to like about this Cougar offense is the balance between the run and the pass. They seem to be mixing it up very well, keeping the Kearney defense off balance.
Joint will again pass on second down.
Nice.
And is that going to be caught? Yeah, they're going to call that a catch by Colt Green. So great job to keep his feet in bounds. A little toe drag swag there by Green.
Fantastic job. The ball hung up a little bit, and as he was heading toward the sideline, and you thought it may be overthrown, but Green made a great adjustment on the ball, got the foot down, and now it's 3rd and short, and maybe if the Cougars don't get this is 2 cracks at it here.
Yeah, certainly could be 4th down territory, 4-down territory for HFL. As Joint again shifts Derby to his left. Tries to get the Kings to jump. Just a dummy call as offensive coordinator Dan Hoyt calls the play to Joint. It's going to be a handoff to Derby. Gets some good downfield blocking, and he'll have more than enough for the first as he gets tackled at about the 31-yard line.
The middle of the line, Peter, is just doing a fantastic job. Samuel Miller, Carson Joint, Mitchell Greer. Whenever the Cougars have gone there tonight, they've had room, and the 3rd and short, if you can bust off 8 or 9 like they just did, you're going to be in business all night long.
So the Cougars will come out 1st and 10. Just under 3 to play in this first quarter. Some more pre-snap motion and some more pre-snap motion, this time by the offensive line.
That's the kind of pre-snap motion that Coach Russ isn't going to like. That's the Cougars' 3rd penalty this quarter. It's cost them 25 yards. That's a quarter of the length of the field in the first quarter, and that's something that I'm sure when they get back to work next week, they're going to hold your water is what they often tell the line coaches tell the linemen, and that's got to happen.
Yeah, and the whole left side of the line went off. So I don't know if they didn't hear the whole play call and maybe thought that the snap was going to be earlier. But in any case, it results in a loss of 5 for the Cougars here. So it's still 1st down, and this is going to be a pitch and catch to Nolan Smith for the Cougars.
Another nice throw by Reese Joint there. Nolan Smith has that great size at 6'5", 190 pounds. He got the ball up in a position, made a nice catch with his hands, and now the Cougars are looking at 2nd and short. So that penalty didn't hurt them as much as it could have.
Yeah, and the Sentinel broadcast some basketball games this past winter season, and Nolan Smith, he's, like you said, he's got the size and plays center for the HFL varsity basketball team.
And what a catch radius, too. I mean, that's a phrase that you hear a lot. He's got a lot of room to make plays.
And here's Derby cutting up the middle. And is he in? That's the question. No signal yet. It looks like they're going to say he's maybe just inches short of the goal line.
Wow, what a run. Derby's got it cooking tonight. The HFL went to the middle again. That well has been very, very plentiful and just short of the end zone. But they're starting to get that tempo on the offense. You can feel that they're confident and they're rolling. Yeah,
and certainly going with the split out wide receivers, maybe trying to get some of those guys out of the box so that they can open it, the center running lanes for Derby, as we now have a 2 running back set for the Cougars. 1st and goal, handoff, short. That went to...
Was that Meacham?
That is Meacham.
That was a really nice play, too, by the Bishop Kearney defense. Number 50 for Kearney came up with a play there, Jarrell Dorsey, and that was a nice stop. It was a good tackle. Got him low and brought him down.
So we'll see 2nd and goal, still inside the 5 for HFL. Still with that 2 running back set. Joint trying to get the Kings to go on the hard count. This time it's Derby. He's going to be stood right up, get maybe an extra push, but doesn't look like he can cross that plane just yet.
And there it is, the Kearney defense again tightening up in the goal line situation. They can be very physical, the Kings, and if you're going to win that battle in tight, you've got to get low and get some leverage and just get a little bit more push than HFL got right there. Sometimes, Peter, in the shotgun formation, too, it's a little tougher to get your momentum going.
Yeah, that's why it's been interesting. They elect to stay in that same formation with 2 running backs, yet go, start with the ball 5 yards back. This time it's a screen pass, and it is a touchdown for HFL. I believe that's number 4, Colt Green. Hard to see the home HFL numbers. Yes, it is. Number 4, Colt Green for HFL.
That would be his second touchdown catch of the quarter, and that's one of the advantages of the spread offense. We talked about sometimes a challenge with the shotgun, but Joint had a lot of space. That was an easy pitch and catch. The Kings had to respect the center run game, and then that was open. And
PAT up and good for HFL. So it is now 14-0. Carbonell 2 for 2. On his first night. So that was a pretty good methodical drive by HFL, resulted in a 1-yard receiving touchdown by Colt Green. He finds the Meehan Architecture end zone. Meehan Architecture, your neighborhood architect.
And Carbonell's not the only one that's 2 for 2. The Cougars' offense is 2 for 2. They've had the ball for 2 possessions, and they marched down the field twice. And march might be the most accurate verb there because they have been doing it methodically, as you mentioned, Peter, mixing the run and the pass, getting 5 to 10 yards here and there, the bigger plays when they need them. Derby had they busted the run down inside in the 5, and then it took them 3 plays to get in. But if you would have told Colt Russ at the beginning of the game they'd score on their first 2 drives, he'd have taken that in a heartbeat.
And this kickoff is, of course, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting easiest started at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. And here's the kick. And Johnson's got it again. Check that. No, that's number 5. That's A.J. Tomlin, the third for the Kings.
And Tomlin is one of the running backs that Coach Gauss talked a lot about this week. He believes his 4 running backs all can make a difference in plays, and very high on Tomlin and his ability to do that. And nice return. If the Kings are going to start outside of their 40 at the 42, so getting that shorter field might give them an opportunity to make a couple plays, get back in the game.
And we got just over about 30 seconds left in this first quarter. So we'll see what the Kings elect to do. I don't think there's really any wind to worry about, so there's no real difference whether they're going north or south on the turf here tonight.
I think they just want to have a positive play so that they can set themselves up for success and keep this drive going and avoid the 3rd and longs that they've been plagued with on their first 2 possessions.
So the Kings go with the triple option, and the ball is out on the carpet.
And that is exactly what HFL was looking for, and Bishop Kearney was not. That's going to make it probably 2nd and 25. The option is a good call if you can get the numbers on the outside. A little bit of good penetration by the defensive end, forced Ross's hand, and ball hits the turf. The only thing you can do is cover it there.
Yeah, it could have been much worse if HFL was able to jump on that loose ball, as it looks like that'll probably have been the last play of this first quarter. No, they're going to snap it right before we hear a whistle, and it's going to be a sack. Nice. Ross gets tackled.
Wow. The HFL defense is coming to play.
Yeah, maybe the Kings might have want that play back. They had no reason to snap that ball, and they certainly probably did not like that outcome. So that'll be the end of the first quarter. We'll like to take some time here to thank tonight's sponsors, starting with Alexander Enterprises. For nearly 30 years, Alexander Enterprises has been one of Rochester's most trusted contractors. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120.
So, Peter, the HFL uniforms look great for the players, and I'm sure that they look fantastic. But it's a little hard for us as broadcasters, and we want to get the call on the number there. I thought, and I don't want to give credit for the sack to somebody else, I was thinking it might be Michael Sanza that got it, number 60, but it was kind of hard to tell because you can't see the numbers running off the field. But the defense has done a great job setting up a 3rd and very, very long for Bishop Kearney. So I think the goal here is to minimize Kearney here and try and get the ball back on that 3rd possession and head towards the end zone again.
And our other sponsor here, Fly Control Services, a family-owned and operated professional pest control company serving all of Western New York and the Finger Lakes for 4 decades. Inside or out, home or business, they'll help you keep the bugs away. Give them a call at 704-8329.
So, Peter, my keys to the game coming in were penalties and turnovers. Through the first quarter, both teams had the penalty bug a little bit. Bishop Kearney had 4 for 20 yards, HFL 3 for 25 yards. And here come the Kings.
Another deep pass, and we got a flag, maybe against the HFL defense. Might be some illegal contact by the defensive back, or is it offensive? We'll have to see. So the referee having a brief conference. It looks like we're going to have...
Is it a legal man downfield? And interference, so offsetting penalties.
Yeah, so both teams ended up getting a flag thrown. So like you said, those will offset. So we'll just replay the down like nothing happened.
3rd and 40, and you see a flag on the field. I think if you're Coach Russ, you take the offsetting, and the odds are in your favor that it's going to come out for your benefit as the Cougars.
So 3rd, and like you said, very long. There's not a whole lot of plays in the playbook designed to get this sort of yardage. We'll see what Bishop Kearney elects to do as Ross is barking out some adjustments there.
It's intercepted, Peter. It's number 5.
And that is going to be tackled out of bounds. That's number 5 for HFL, which is, of course, Cole Chaparino, who, again, if you've been following the Sentinel, we did some soccer games this fall, and Cole Chaparino is one of those guys who plays defense on soccer. So maybe that experience from the other football helped him here tonight get his first interception. So stepping up and make big plays. We've had 2 soccer players for HFL have big nights so far in this first half with Carbonell and now Chaparino.
And that's a great play by Chaparino. Obviously, 3rd and 40, you back up, you're playing loose coverage. The ball was overthrown, and he was right there in position, and he made a great return, almost found the end zone.
So 1st and goal for the Cougars. Ball at the 3-yard line. Joint from the shotgun. He's going to roll out to his right. Look, quick shot fire, and falling into the end zone is
it
number 9?
It's either 6 or 9. We've got that number thing going on again.
Believe it's number 9 for HFL, which is Mason Wazenreed.
Well, the HFL's short passing game has been very crisp, and come out after the turnover, go right for the touchdown, and a nice job by the Cougars. Reese Joint's off to a great start with 3 touchdown passes in 3 possessions.
And Carbonell 3 for 3 now. So the Cougars find the Meehan Architecture end zone 3 times in this first half so far. Lead 21-0 over the Kings. So, Steve, if you're Bishop Kearney, you haven't really been able to put together maybe that drive yet. Down 24, you want to get points here, but maybe getting a first down or 2 is a little bit of a priority at this point.
Absolutely. You need to start small. You're not going to score 21 points in one possession. But if you get 7 and then get a stop on defense and are able to score again by the end of the half, then you got a 21-14 game, and that's manageable. So right now it's just about managing damage, coming out, making some positive plays, and trying to push the ball forward. If you're the Cougars, you might want to turn up the heat a little bit, because sometimes when teams fall behind, they're more prone to make mistakes, and they might be looking for an opportunity to put this game away very soon.
So this kickoff brought to you by HFMP. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. And the deep kick will be fielded by the Kings. Johnson still on his feet, wrapped up, tackled on the far side, just shy of about the 30-yard line. So trotting back out onto the field is the Bishop Kearney offense, and we'll have to see how Ross responds after that interception thrown on the last drive.
No, and this will be the Kings' fourth possession, and they've had 2 punts and a turnover. So, as you mentioned, Peter, right now it's just about biting off small chunks, trying to move the ball down the field and get on the scoreboard.
So we've seen a couple different looks here by the Kings. We'll see if they come out in either a spread look or a under center look. This time they got a lot of guys loaded up in the box. It's going to be a design quarterback run play by Ross.
Short yardage there, but we need to note that Ross is dangerous as a runner too. Both of the Kings' touchdowns last week were scored by Ross on scrambles. They were more broken plays where he was able to get outside the pocket and use his speed. So getting him touches to make positive plays seems like a solid strategy.
Yeah, those defensive ends for HFL are going to have to keep a close look at Ross, Mitchell Bolin, and Preston Huff.
Yeah, it just, minimize, keep contained, keep him in the pocket, and let your other teammates do their job too. Having a 3-touchdown lead makes things a little bit easier for the Cougars here to relax and just focus on what they need to do.
So again, another Ross keep. This time he's going to be, check that, I thought he was going to be tackled for a loss. He's maybe able to make a play out of something. Going to get tackled at about the 30. It's going to be a gain of 1, but there is some laundry on the field. Looks like probably a holding call against Bishop Kearney.
Ross is 6'3" and 180 pounds, and we saw right there some of his athletic ability. In order to avoid that tackle, sometimes when the play gets off schedule like that, he was out of position and somebody was just trying to protect him, made the hold. But that is going to put the Kings again in. Right now, it's going to be second. Well, it's going to be third and long because the penalty was declined.
Yeah, interesting call there by the Cougars. And like you mentioned, something that's tough for the offensive line is when you have a quarterback like Ross who can make plays and is all over the field. You cannot keep track of him because your back's to him. So sometimes you're just at the wrong place at the wrong time trying to make a block, which would maybe otherwise be legal, but because of where the quarterback is, it gets flagged.
And sometimes you're trying to protect your teammate, and a penalty is better than an injury.
Certainly. So 3rd and 9 for Bishop Kearney, again with that same look. It's been running plays back-to-back by the quarterback, and again it's going to be Ross who's trying to run out to that far right side, but he's going to be tracked down and dropped. Looked like that tackle was made by Jacob Derby, I believe, the strong safety for HFL.
Fantastic job by the Cougars in stringing that play out and extending it along the line, not letting Ross turn his shoulders. And the longer that play went laterally, the more chance they had to converge on him and keep the play to a negative yardage.
So again tonight we have Flowers and the Bishop Kearney punting unit coming out on the field. Look for a second there that they were thinking about maybe keeping the offense on the field. The lineman took a little bit longer than usual to stay out there, but it will be a punt. Spiraling kick. It's going to take a hop and immediately caught by Honeoye Falls-Lima.
Nice job there. That was number 6, Patrick Lustig. Fielded the ball and not only was able to break a tackle, but by doing so, he got an extra 15 yards, and the Cougars will set up in Bishop Kearney territory again. Everything is trending HFL's way right now, Peter.
Yeah, and that's something that Bishop Kearney had in the first half of that Batavia game was they were winning the battle of field position. And now 2 consecutive drives for the Cougars starting inside King territory. Certainly helpful for this HFL offense.
It is, and HFL is 3 for 3, so when you get those drives going early, the confidence has got to be there. And I think Coach Russ is going to have some fun with the play calling here and just try and go for that next touchdown to put this game really out of reach.
So joint hands off. Derby powers ahead.
And that's a solid play on first down. I mean, it's a 3-yard gain. It's not as big as some of the plays that we've seen the Cougars make, but there's nothing wrong with that when you're just getting established, and I think it's as important to get the Kings to respect the run so that they know that you can come at them both ways.
So they'll call it a gain of 3 here for the Cougars, looking at 2nd and 7. Again, more motion for HFL. This time a doubles look, and Reese Joint's going to look. First read wasn't there. He'll roll out to the right, fire caught. Short of the line to gain, but a gain of about 2 nonetheless.
Is that our number 4, Colton Green again?
Believe so. It is very difficult to read these jerseys. They certainly they look very sharp, but for an announcer, they're not the easiest thing to read.
But a nice job there by Joint in extending the play. He didn't have what he wanted right away, and that's 4 catches in the first half for Colton Green and 2 touchdowns, so he's come to play tonight.
Certainly, yeah, and Joint had a great game a week ago, over 240 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he's certainly already eclipsed the scoring mark as we have a option play. It's going to be a lateral down to the wide receiver, and it's going to be a pickup, a first down for Mason Wazenreed. So that's kind of a little, we'll call it Andy Reid type Kansas City Chief play where there's so many options. You see Patrick Mahomes shuffle pass it either to a guy like Travis Kelce or the fullback, and this time it's Joint to Wazenreed for the first down.
Super play call there. Great execution by the Cougars. Keeps the drive going, and that little shovel pass, very effective so far.
Yeah, and this is kind of the HFL's in a good spot to kind of play around with their offense a little bit as Derby makes a spin move, still on his feet.
Great run. Just a fantastic run there, Peter. He got contact maybe 6-7 yards downfield, was able to spin out of it and go another 10 or 15 yards. This mix of the passing game and the running game with Derby is on fire at the moment.
So first and goal for HFL. Derby sets him up very nicely. And like you said, that balance has been tremendous so far through these first 1.5 games. We'll go back to that 2 running back look with Derby and Meacham in the backfield for the Cougars. Handoff for HFL, and that is a touchdown.
Is that Derby again? I mean, big hole. We'll have to get him running off the field, but the Cougars' offensive line is just opening up huge holes, and they're taking advantage.
Yep, Jacob Derby able to find the Meehan Architecture end zone to extend the lead for the Cougars with 6:15 to go in the first half. So, point after touchdown.
And Derby deserved that one. He's been moving the Cougars all the way down the field. They've had 3 short touchdown passes, and he was able to eat right there.
Up and good. Business as usual here for Carbonell. So, Cougars jump out 28-0 over the Kings.
And HFL really firing on all cylinders right now, Peter. Even with Carbonell, somebody who's making their debut in football, 4 for 4 in the first half, and the Cougars have had the ball 4 times, scored 4 touchdowns, 8 first downs. They are ready to play.
Yeah, HFL takes a little bit more time huddling up, whereas Bishop Kearney doesn't huddle. They just send their team right out there for this kickoff, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting easiest started at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com.
So, and what a beautiful night, Peter, as we're looking across the moon. I don't know if it's technically full, but it's spring, but there is a little bit of a hint of fall in the air.
Yeah, certainly it's a brisk night. It's not too cold. It's not too warm. It's football weather, in my opinion, and I'm glad to have it back after missing it in the fall here for HFL. So the kick away, and it's muffed but quickly recovered by Johnson for the Kings. And he'll get up again past the 30-yard line. Call it the 32. So with 6:07 left to go in this first half, I think like we alluded to the previous drive, at this point for Bishop Kearney, you just got to try and string a series of plays together. They looked towards Ross that last time. They called his number, I think, on all 3 plays, or 4 plays if you count the one that was negated. But it's going to be interesting to see what they try and do this time around.
Yeah, I think that was an attempt to get the ball in the hands of your best player. And, the attempt was there, but the blocking wasn't. And the pressure by the HFL defense made things tough on Ross. I would look to see maybe the running backs get involved a little bit here, too. There was a lot of discussion about Shai Patton this week and also Beeson. And, I think the Kings are just looking to maybe have a couple of positive plays to get a little bit of a rhythm. They only have 1 first down, and it came on their first play from scrimmage.
So a pass play for the Kings is going to be nearly intercepted by the Cougars.
And it did look like Ross had his receiver there, Flowers. The ball was just slightly underthrown, but that deep shot there, they've tried that 3 or 4 times. That one there, they had a chance to make a connection.
Yeah, stops the clock, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Halfway through, right at 6 minutes, right?
Yeah, halfway through. So we'll see. Maybe Bishop Kearney elects to throw the ball instead of running the ball after they haven't been able to accomplish anything so far, as that pass is off the hands of Trevor Bahan.
And that was the Kings' offense, with an attempt to have almost an extended handoff, get the ball to the receiver's hands on the outside, make a play in space. The Kings do have a lot of talent at their skill positions, and if they can get players in space and minimize the matchups, that's probably their best opportunity. Probably their best opportunity to move the ball down the field.
Certainly. So it'll be 3rd and call it 10 for the Kings. Ross from the gun is going to look to pass, throws it deep, and that's incomplete.
I think it was intended for number 15 right there.
Yep, he was looking towards 15. That's Javon Darden.
And you can see that Ross throws a nice ball. It just hasn't had the opportunity to connect, and the accuracy and the timing have been a little bit off. I think, given the Kings' challenges to not have a scrimmage and get the practices in early, there's still a little bit of rust that's being worked off.
Yeah, and that's something that all the teams are up against, is the reduced practices coming into these games. And like you said, some of these the connections are just a little bit off. We saw it a little bit between Joint and some of his wide receivers, as a punt here for the Kings is going to trickle out of bounds inside Cougar territory at the, we'll call it 44-yard line. So HFL will get the ball back with 5:44 to go. First down.
And Peter, you mentioned the practices and the limited time. That's only going to get even tighter this window in the next week, where the first 2 blocks of the schedule have been 7 days in between games. Next week, we go where the 6 days, so a lot of games will be played on Thursday, and progressively, to get all 6 games in to the window, there will be games upcoming on Thursdays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Mondays. So the practice time is not going to be there. Teams are really going to look to maximize and get sharpen their skills as much as they can, but it is not going to be easy.
Yeah, and I know we're only in the first half, but as this game, if it continues to stay this far apart, it'll be interested to see how long HFL elects to keep their starters in, just to give them a little bit more opportunity to try and get that rhythm, as we have.
We got a penalty, I believe. Or, no, timeout before the penalty.
So the Bishop Kearney Kings elect to take a timeout. Do you need a timeout? Take a break with Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe located at 58 North Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Coffee, espresso, smoothies, shakes, paninis, salads, pizza, and more. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials.
And that's an interesting point about just managing the health of the athletes, because with the season being condensed, we talked about Reese Joint possibly playing 5 sports. I've had conversations with a lot of coaches, a lot of players. Everybody's talking about taking care of their body, making sure they're eating right, getting their rest, and staying as healthy as possible. And we've saw, Bishop Kearney had a couple unfortunate injuries to key players. You need to keep your players and your athletes healthy, just because it's harder than ever. This is a contact sport where injuries happen, and you need to do everything you can to minimize. And so maybe we will see some of that.
So Cougars come out in the gun, trips to the bottom of the screen. Joint collects the snap. He'll pump fake. Scrambling to his right under pressure, and he's going to be sacked. Down goes Joint.
That was number 5, A.J. Tomlin, the third. And he's one of the players that Coach Gauze talked about. And that's a play that Bishop Kearney was making last week against Batavia. It's really the first negative play that we've seen for the Cougars tonight. But the Kearney defense has the kind of playmakers that can do those things, so the Cougars can't get too comfortable either.
Yeah, and it's certainly important to keep in mind that Joint was not the regular starter a season ago for HFL. He did have the opportunity to start a couple games last season because of injury to starter Turner Wilson. He did see a fair amount of playing time in their homecoming game, but it's not like he is a second-year starter. So that's kind of one of those plays where maybe he doesn't necessarily have the full experiences. We have a big running play here for HFL. That's Meacham going to be shoved out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Huge pickup for HFL.
What a fantastic run right there by Meacham, Zachary Meacham. We've seen Jacob Derby getting the bulk of the carries, but this nice change of pace, having two backs that are fresh, player management, we talked about it. That was a great example of it, especially after a negative play on first down.
Yeah, and I think they have a great two-headed monster in Meacham and Derby. Meacham actually led the team in rushing a week ago, despite Derby leading the team in scoring.
So we might need to come up with a nickname for them, right?
Yeah. So just about 4.5 to go. Cougars now just outside the red zone. We'll call it at the 21. Snap is a handoff. And again, falling forward is Meacham, I believe. So it'll be second, and we'll call it about 4.
And Meacham is, a little bit taller, than Derby. So it is a little bit of different. Both runners are physical, but it's a little bit of a different look. And he is making the most of his opportunities.
So the Cougars now in the red zone. They're trying to find the Meehan Architecture end zone as Joint is in the gun. Snap, Joint looks.
Great
First
blitz
read
pickup.
isn't there. Steps up, throws. And he's going to be cut down just inside the 10-yard line. Mason Wazenreed there for the HFL first down.
Boy, I am having a hard time telling my 6s and my 9s apart. I was thinking that might have been Lustig, but it's so hard to see. But great job by Joint buying more time, and the receiver found a spot in the zone, sat down, and a great throw inside for another first down, and goal to goal. That's 10 first downs for the Cougars here in the first half.
Correction, it looks like that was number 6, Patrick Lustig, for the Cougars. Like you said, the 6s and 9s are just very difficult to tell apart.
Yeah, the yellow piping is great, but you just can't. The gray, I believe, numerals are not standing out, especially as it gets darker.
So first and goal, here's the handoff. Losing yards is Meacham. He's dragged down to the turf by number 2 for Kearney.
I think that's 12, Juwan Perry, at the defensive end position. He's a 5'11", 210-pound senior who has been one of their top playmakers. He looked really good on film this week, and he made a couple plays like that against Batavia too. So that's the second time tonight that the Kings have stepped up with a negative play to curtail HFL. Let's see how the Cougars respond. Last time they got that big run from Meacham.
Yeah, we'll call it 2nd and 10 for HFL. 2 running backs in the backfield. Joint collects the snap. Play action, makes a man miss. Fires to the end zone. He's got a man. It's a touchdown. HFL touchdown. That's Colton Green.
He's got a hat trick.
Finds the Meehan Architecture end zone yet again tonight.
Well, that's 3 touchdowns in the first half for Green. And I can't say enough about Reese Joint's pocket presence. He just stepped up, avoided gave the play a little bit of time to develop, and Green's getting open. I mean, that's at least 5 catches for him for 3 touchdowns. So he's certainly stepped up his game this week and is looking sharp.
Yeah, like you said, great play there by Joint to get the separation to make that throw as Carbonell hits it through again. So 35-0. And Colton Green having a night.
He is having a night for sure. And the balanced offense is giving opportunities across the board, and each player seems to be ready to seize that opportunity. You haven't seen many miscues by the Cougars tonight.
So the Cougars will kick it off yet again. Kickoff brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com.
And here, if you're Bishop Kearney, the one thing you don't want to do is turn the ball over. You need to make a couple positive plays, and although it would be nice to score before the end of the half, the biggest thing to do is keep the ball away from the Cougars.
Yeah, just try and put something positive together here to keep your head high going into halftime. Certainly Bishop Kearney's going to try and do that here in the waning minute of the second quarter. Ball away. Kings will catch it. We got a flag down as number 9 for the Kings is tackled out of bounds.
That was Jalik Johnson on the return. He did a nice job getting outside. You have to believe, Peter, almost every time you see this on special teams, there's some kind of a blocking infraction. And, unless I'm incorrect, it'll push the Kings back. So it looks like it's going to be a hold, and they'll go back probably about to their 25. They're spotting it at the 31, so they'll start about their 21. So that's going to cost them 20 yards, really.
Yeah, and that's tough for Bishop Kearney, as we have about a minute and a half to go here in this first half.
By my count, that's the 5th penalty on Kearney tonight for 30 yards. And even though that is only a 10-yard penalty, in reality, it's more like a 30-yard penalty because of the field position that they lose.
And there's been a couple special team penalties by Kearney tonight, and that's that third phase of football where games are won and lost. And certainly Bishop Kearney has got to get better, a little bit better discipline. And like you said, it happens very often on plays like that, but tough to get penalties on special teams as Ross's pass is incomplete, intended for Ymir Sturgis.
Yeah. And we've mentioned this a couple times, but with the season starting in spring, the football calendar is a little bit different. You know, coaches are often creatures of habit. They know what they're going to do throughout the summer leading up to August. With March, it's a whole new deal, and it's taking, different teams different amounts of times to adjust.
So 2nd and 10 for Kearney. Again, another pass play. Ross probably just going to throw that one away.
And there's Colton Green again all over the field. There was a receiver, number 2 for Kearney, was behind him. But
Byron Starks.
Starks was behind him, but Green got there and broke it up. And as you said a few minutes ago, have a night, right?
Yeah, that's the one thing with high school football. A lot of these guys are playing two-way, so certainly an opportunity to make plays both on the offense and defensive side of the ball.
And that's the only ball that's been in the zip code that Green hasn't caught tonight. I mean, and not that he was trying to. Knocking it out of bounds was an effective play. It's the right play on defense, but he has really shown a great set of hands.
Another throw here. Again, incomplete for the Kings, and that'll stop the clock. So they take 3 plays that go nowhere and take close to nothing off the clock. So the Cougars will get the ball back with some time. I imagine that they'll be pretty content with the lead and just take a knee going into halftime, especially knowing that they're going to get the football to start the second half.
You would think, but special teams, as you mentioned, they can be a game turner if they get a good return here, or there's some kind of a miscue with a snap or a block punt. I could see HFL looking to go in one more time.
So Flowers here for the punt. Again, low snap, but he will get the punt away. And this will be caught and immediately dropped.
Very nice play there in the open field by Jalik Johnson, getting down there, using his speed to make that tackle. And that's a play that Bishop Kearney really needed. The positive plays don't all have to be on offense. Having a good play like that on special teams is exactly what they needed, and that might be the play that where HFL says, okay, we're good with where we are right now. Let's get a break, talk about second half, and take it into the locker room.
Yeah, Lustig had nowhere to go. The key thing was obviously making that catch first and then figuring out, and he didn't have anywhere to go. So we'll have about 55 seconds left here in the first half. HFL, they're going to keep the offense rolling here. They do not go for the kneel down to just take the time off. Joint operating out of the gun. Takes the snap. He'll hand off. This is Meacham, and he'll stroll out of bounds, but we have some flags on the far side.
Yeah, we saw flags from at least two officials, so somebody saw something in the middle of the field. I'm going to guess it was I don't have to guess. The referee just made the signal that it's holding, and so they'll take the Cougars back 10 there, and we'll see what that does for the play calling, because you can certainly understand the Cougars going for it there, because the short season, we've waited for football, and you're playing for more than just this week. You want to get your team as ready as you can, because the season is a sprint, not a marathon, and it's about getting better and doing everything you can to get your team better. So with that kind of a view, that made sense. But now they're in the tight formation. They're probably going to take a knee here.
Yeah, they'll just take the knee here and wind the clock down to the end of the first half. So clock rolling now, and they shouldn't have to take another snap here to get us to halftime.
And what a perfect half for Honeoye Falls-Lima. They scored on all 5 of their offensive possessions before the kneel down at the end, and 35-0 lead. They've got to be very happy with all phases right now.
So we'll bring up some of our sponsorships, starting with Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Honeoye Falls Marketplace, love the convenience of curbside pickup, but fear unpacking your groceries? The beauty of having experienced grocery people picking your orders is exactly what you want. So leave the shopping to your friends at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Made from scratch baked goods to hand-cut meat, vegan, and everything in between. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. Also, we have Salvatore's Pizzeria, your healthy, fast, local food choice for pizza in the village of Honeoye Falls. Order dinner after the big game tonight at 582-2525. And last but not least, we have Meehan Architecture. Rob asked me specifically to just talk football. So rather than read an advertisement, Steve, you want to give us a recap of what we saw scoring in that first half of play?
Well, Peter, we saw the Cougars score on all 5 of their offensive possessions. 6:05 into the game, it was a pass from Reese Joint to Colton Green. That pair connected again less than 2 minutes later. With 41 and a half seconds left for again. So end of the first quarter was 14-0 for the Cougars. And HFL scored again to Green with at the end of the half. And the other touchdowns were a run by both runs were by Jacob Derby, I believe. So, the Cougars came out and set the tone and have done a great job. And if we look at the big picture here, Peter, Honeoye Falls-Lima has outscored its opponent 69-0 in 6 quarters. So if you're looking at Class B and this team having a goal of being a sectional championship contender, they have done nothing to think that they will not be in that conversation. They are very well on their way to being 2-0 and joining Batavia as the only 2-0 teams in Class B.
So we're going to take a break here at HFL. We'll let you enjoy the time here with some silence, and we'll be back just before the second half of action kicks off. Thanks for tuning in to the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel live here on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. So we are back live here at HFL. We're going to take some time to thank some more sponsors. Main Street Cafe. Main Street Cafe is your hometown cafe located at 58 North Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Every Monday is Milkshake Monday at Main Street Cafe with $5 large shakes. Or if you're in the mood for something else, try their coffee, espresso, smoothies, paninis, salads, or pizzas. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials. Salvatore's Old-Fashioned Pizzeria, your fast, local, healthy choice for pizza in the village of Honeoye Falls. Order dinner after the big game at 582-2525 or order online at salvatores.com. So with that, we have just about 30 seconds to go before the start of the second half. We do have some stat corrections, who scored for HFL. So, Steve, you want to share those with our listeners?
Sure. First off, Reese Joint has 4 touchdown passes, and he's got two of them are to Colton Green, 1 to Patrick Lustig, and 1 to Mason Wanzenreed. So 4 touchdown passes for Joint. And offensive efficiency for the Cougars has been off the charts. And then Jacob Derby with a touchdown run and 5 extra points, 5 for 5 for Xavier Carbonell. And so really the story of the first half has been the offensive efficiency of the Cougars. And but as I mentioned to you at halftime, Peter, HFL has outscored its opponent 69-0 through the first 6 quarters of the season. So the defense is also doing quite a few things right.
Yeah, and one of the things that Coach Russ made a point to us earlier this week was the defense generating the turnovers. He said, we have to create turnovers. Any offense is going to thrive when the defense is generating turnovers, and that happened there in that second quarter. Cole Chaparino had the interception, just pushed out shy of the end zone, and the Cougars capitalized on that.
And the other thing the Cougars have done a fantastic job is containing the Bishop Kearney offense and forcing them into long down and distance where it's been difficult for them to make plays. They picked up 1 first down in the first half, and I believe it happened on their very first play from scrimmage.
And for Bishop Kearney, we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, but their quarterback, he's a third-year varsity player, but is only a sophomore. So he's still a young quarterback playing in Section 5. He's still got a very long high school career ahead of him. He has shown tremendous maturity through his first 3 years, but this is a great opportunity for him to just learn from experiences like this that can help him in his future career at Bishop Kearney.
Oh, I think you're 100% right there. Xavier Ross is a name that's going to be talked about in Section 5 for probably the next 2.5 seasons. It's kind of weird with the calendar and us being in March, but September will be here pretty soon. And all of this that the Kearney team is going through now, they're pretty young, and they've got the players from Rochester Prep and also Rochester Academy Charter School. Whatever this season does for every team in Section 5, for the returning players, it's going to make them that much better next season in the fall when it's traditional football.
So we had some time added to the halftime clock, now showing about just over 90 seconds. Bishop Kearney already out on the field. They're ready to just get this thing rolling. And HFL is going to start with the ball. But before we'll have a kickoff, which is, of course, presented by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. So, do you think we will see Joint still in at quarterback? I saw both quarterbacks, it looked like, loosening their arms for HFL.
Brody Young is the backup. I do. I think that because of the short season and also what's ahead, that, Coach Russ's offense has been fantastic tonight, but you still want to work on things, and maybe there's a couple of things they want to try, maybe get some things on tape so that their opponents have even more to game plan for, because as we mentioned, second half of the season, it'll go from a 7-day block in Section 5 to a 6-day block, so there'll be give your opponents more to prepare for, and with only 4 teams making sectionals, the Cougars could be playing to secure a couple of home games here too.
So back deep for the Cougars is Mason Wazenreed and Colton Green. Kicking off for the Kings is Flowers. First kickoff here for the Kings tonight. There's the whistle, so the second half is just about to begin, waiting on Flowers. Kick away. This is going to be a short kick. Caught by the Cougars, and ball's out on the turf.
Well, there's the play Bishop Kearney needed to start the second half. I believe they fell on it and recovered. So that's a fantastic play by Bishop Kearney, the special teams, to make something happen. And it looks like Jalik Johnson is the one that covered that. I was watching him. He was lined at the outside position, took real good advantage of his speed, and that's the play that Bishop Kearney needed to set the tone, not what the Cougars were looking for, obviously.
And they find themselves, this is the closest that they've been to the end zone tonight. So this is a huge opportunity for Bishop Kearney. We'll see what they do. It's going to be spotted at about the 25-yard line. So out trots the Kearney offense, led by Ross, of course.
And Coach Gauze, Peter, talked a lot about the character on his team, and his athletes would not give up, and we're going to hang in there and do the best they can. And that's a great example right there.
So handoff there to number 44, Patton. And he'll fight hard for a gain of about 2 yards. We do have an injury on the field, so we will pan away. Can't check the number. Looks like 12, who is Jawan Perry for the Kings. So we'll take a moment here while they sort out the injury to remind you to follow the Sentinel online. You can visit our website, www.mhflsentinel.com. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and follow us on Instagram. We try our best to post some of the front page stories from our weekly editions of the newspaper on all of those locations.
And this is an unfortunate situation for the Kings. They've already had a couple of serious injuries earlier this season, and in number 12, Jawan Perry, is a standout on both offense and defense for them. So we're hoping that that the young man is okay. He's getting looked after right now, and right now the football takes a backseat to this young man's health, and hoping that everything is okay for him.
Yeah, and I could not catch because there were so many Kearney players in the backfield, but I thought for a second that Perry was the individual who took the snap from the center, so he might have checked in at quarterback. I couldn't tell. The play was so quick.
And it did look like a change in sets for the Kings because they got the turnover. They were set up in field position. And when I was talking to Coach Gauze this week, he listed Patton as his H-back. And Patton has great size. He also plays defense where he's a very hard hitter. And you saw him give some punishment on that run. They actually ran for a first down, their second of the night. And he had contact with an HFL defender, knocked the defender back, and picked up an extra 5 or 6 yards to get the first down.
So the player for Bishop Kearney is still on the ground here at HFL. Seems to be a lower body injury based on what the trainers are evaluating here. It looks like they're going to try and get him up on his feet, which is certainly a good sign if he's able to at least walk off the field with some assistance. And it looks like they got him up, which is a great sign. Players coming over from the Kearney bench to help their fallen teammate. So we will hope that this is nothing major for Jawan Perry and the Bishop Kearney Kings. Like you mentioned, they had a key injury a week ago.
Yeah, they actually had a couple to number 6, Jimmy Walker, and to number 52, Idris Enow. And then in Coach Gauze has a lot of connections. He's the father of Quentin Gauze, who played at Rutgers and in the NFL with the Broncos. His son JoJo Gauze is on the staff now, but also played college football, is going to go play arena football later. He said that some of the college coaches that he has been in contact with have seen the film, and that Perry is one of the players that has impressed them on the film. So we obviously hope for a great recovery there, and that all is well, and that it's more than just about the scoreboard. It's about this young man's health and hopefully getting better.
So it'll be first down, and it looks like we have a wildcat formation. And again, it's Patton with the ball. He'll run ahead for a gain of 3. So it looks like we have a wildcat set for the Kings.
It does, and they had struggled to make their connections through the air. They got a break with the turnover on the second half kickoff, and I think they are just trying to mix things up and have a positive drive here, get on the scoreboard, and get some positive momentum throughout the second half.
So again, this bunch set in the backfield. We have some movement before the snap on the left side. If it was on the offense, it would have been 66 Isaiah Ballard. We'll see who they ultimately call it on. And they will, in fact, call it on Ballard, the left tackle for Bishop Kearney.
So, Peter, in looking at this formation, Xavier Ross is split out to the wide receiver spot. Okay, now he's coming in motion into the backfield, so maybe there's some kind of gadget play coming here or a timeout.
And, yes, in fact, Bishop Kearney elects to take a timeout. Do you need a timeout? Take a break with Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe, located at 58 North Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Coffee, espresso, smoothies, shakes, paninis, salads, pizza, and more. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. So, Steve, what do you think Bishop Kearney is discussing during this timeout?
I think they just want to be all on the same page with the play call. This is their best offensive opportunity of the night. The score is a little lopsided. This is about making progress as a team, as an offensive unit. So I think it's more about making sure that everybody does what they're supposed to do on this play. They're already behind the sticks at 2nd and 13, 2nd 11. But they really need a touchdown on this drive. And I think that was just to save any confusion and any potential for that play blowing up.
So it'll be 2nd and 14 from the 17-yard line for Bishop Kearney. Coming back out in the wildcat formation. Patton will pass here, looking towards Ross there, but he overthrew him.
So I think that's what they were looking at, is trying to isolate Ross. He's been the quarterback all game, and a lot of times in Wildcat you see the offense split the quarterback out. Now with it being 3rd and 13, we'll have to see what the set is. Are they going to stay in Wildcat, or are they going to put Ross back behind center?
Ross steps back towards midfield. Looks like he's going to be back at quarterback as Patton comes to the near side numbers.
Keep an eye on number 9 here, Peter.
And Ross fires it, and that one bounces off the ground.
He was going for Flowers. You can tell that Flowers and Ross have something going. Whenever the Kings are in a tough situation, that is always his first read, and Ross counts on Flowers to make plays for him. They didn't connect there, but now with 4th down, this is their time to try to get in the end zone.
Now, it is 4th and 14 from the 17, so they don't have to get it on the end zone this play. They can get a first down to set up 1st and goal and then try and find the end zone. But 14 yards is still a long distance as Ross, operating from the gun, collects the snap under pressure. He'll toss it up. Jump ball. Incomplete.
Nice job by the Cougar defense there. They had 3 players surrounding the intended receiver, knocked it down, and that's a point of pride for HFL too. We talked about them not giving up a point yet this season. You got a team 1st and goal at the 11. Defense really pulled its neck there and kept the 0 on the scoreboard. So nice job by the Cougars.
So the HFL offense will set up shop inside their own 20-yard line, and I did see number 7, Reese Joint, running out on the field, so he'll stay in at quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's a little early to make that change, especially with the field position, and you want to see what your offense can do. Maybe go a little more run here, but keep that rhythm.
So HFL does go with the run to Meacham. He'll run to the right for a pickup of about 3 yards.
And if you're the Cougars right now, the clock in possession is your best friend. They did a very good job mixing the run and the pass in the first half. If they can do that and just bite off chunks here, you don't need to go for the big play, but if they can get 4 or 5 yards a pop, move the ball consistently down the field, I think everybody in black will be happy.
Certainly. As the clock continues to run, Joint will run it himself. It looks like a quarterback design sweep to the right, and he'll get first down yardage there. So a nice little QB scamper by Joint.
Yeah, we haven't seen that tonight. That was a nice job on the read option. He pulled the ball back, and he had the whole right side of the field to go, and he did a nice job turning it up and getting the Cougars their first down of the second half.
And that's some of that creativity that I think Coach Russ alluded to in some of our conversation before the game, trying to show some looks, as you mentioned, for the teams that'll be playing HFL in the coming weeks, showing the depth of their playbook that, hey, you know, you have to be prepared for anything when you play us.
I think that's absolutely right.
And it'll be a wide receiver screen for the Cougars.
Is that James Killenbeck?
Yep, that's number 2, James Killenbeck for the Cougars, the 5'9", 145 junior. That's his first reception of the season. He'll pick up, we'll call it, about 7 yards.
And that's a perfect first down play. You know, it's not high risk, and it stays in bounds so the clock keeps moving, and it gives you a very manageable second down situation where you can run or pass.
So doubles is the formation for the Cougars. Joint from the gun, hands off, running up the middle, still on his feet. I believe that's Meacham who crosses the midline stripe, and he'll get the first down.
That's another great job by the offensive line. Meacham had a big hole to run through, and with only 3 yards to get, the Cougars converted that easily, and now they're set up in Bishop Kearney territory, and the Father Time keeps marching on too. You'd be hard-pressed to find too many things to criticize this Cougars game plan so far. They have been spot on.
Joint again from the gun, hands off, and he's wrapped up after about a gain of 1.
Good job by the center of the Kearney defense. They're tightening up the middle. The Cougars have feasted on the middle of the field all night, and we see 44 Shai Patton there, and he's a player that even though the score is a little bit lopsided, he's one of the players for Bishop Kearney who has definitely stood out so far tonight.
So after only a pickup of 1 yard, it'll be 2nd and 9. Cougars content with just the running the clock here in the third quarter.
Now the Cougars got a long touchdown on a screen pass against Newark. I wonder if we'll see another screen tonight.
So number 5, Cole Chaparino, who had an interception earlier tonight, he checks in at running back as Joint completes the swing pass to number 22 for HFL. Jaden Kuhn, the receiver on that play.
So I really like what the Cougars are doing here. They're giving some of the depth players a chance to play with Reese Joint and build that up and get a little chemistry going, because Joint obviously has great chemistry with the starters, but to build the depth of your team, it's a great chance to give these other players an opportunity to play with him.
Joint will hand off this time to Chaparino, who's up at midfield, still going, and he'll get tackled from behind at about the 32-yard line.
A nice run right there. You know the line we've given them credit all night, and Chaparino, he's a soccer player, right? But by trade, and he made a great football read right there. That's a great third down conversion, and it keeps the Cougars on task.
Yeah, Chaparino, I know, has put in a lot of work this offseason. I heard Coach Russ had nothing but good things to say about him, from how quickly he's been able to pick up the defensive coverages, but also how much he's been committed to the weight room. And as a soccer guy, coming in and working out with the football players, that's certainly going to earn him that locker room respect with his teammates.
For sure. There's that swing pass again.
That's number 2, I believe, for HFL. James Killenbeck. His second reception of the night for the Cougars will result about, we'll call it 5 yards.
And Joint seems to have great timing with any receiver that is out there, which is really good. We've seen him extend a couple of plays with his legs to buy some time when he's been under pressure, but right now they're on schedule with everybody.
So 2nd and 4 for HFL. Joint's going to keep it himself again, and he'll lower his shoulder and pick up about 2 yards there.
And we got to give the Kearney defense a little credit there. They got beat on the read option earlier in this drive for the first down. They seemed to learn from that and stayed in discipline and made a good play. Joint did pick up some yardage, so the Cougars are in 3rd and short. So kind of a good play by both sides there.
And on this 3rd and short, Joint's going to trot off the field, and Brody Young is going to check in at quarterback for HFL. Young's going to hand off to Chaparino, who's going to get stopped in the backfield. We do have a flag on the near side. We'll have to see what that call is, but it's going to bring up 4th down if that play stands.
So there was another great play by Shia Patton of the Kings. He beat his block, came into the backfield, and was disruptive. But the Kings are going to be called for a face mask. Looks like it's a 5-yarder, so it's not a personal foul penalty, but it is enough for the first down. And it keeps the clock running, and it keeps the drive rolling. A little bit interesting to see that quarterback change there. It's almost seemed like a hockey changing on the fly. But if you're going to give Brody Young a chance, the offense is in a rhythm, why not? And he came in and made a good play.
So on first down, Young will be in the backfield flanked by Chaparino and Meacham. Handoff goes to Chaparino.
There's Patton again. What a nice tackle there. You can definitely see that 44 in white has some skill and is tough as a linebacker.
So it'll be a short gain for HFL. Cole Chaparino, 5'9", 165 junior. Certainly one of the smaller guys here for this HFL team. Obviously soccer player by trade, so might struggle with some of these Bishop Kearney front 7 guys. But so far he's been able to hold his own as we have 2nd and 9 for HFL. Young's going to pass it out to Killenbeck. Has a blocker in front of him, but gets tackled from behind by Johnson.
But I think we do need to give a call out to Benjamin Carson there, who was downfield blocking and getting some extra yardage for the Cougars. It looks like everybody's paying attention to their assignment. The attention to detail tonight has really been impressive.
So we close in on 2 minutes in this 3rd quarter.
And this is really the perfect drive for the Cougars. Even if they don't score points, they've done what they needed to do. They had the big defensive stand to keep Bishop Kearney off the board, and now the field position game is definitely tilted this direction.
Here's Meacham now on 3rd down. He's not going to get the line to gain, so it'll bring up 4th down. We'll have to see what the Cougars elect to do. It looks like they're bringing the field goal unit out onto the field, so for his first field goal attempt this season, Xavier Carbonell coming out. Kick is going to be from the 20, so we'll call it, check that, 21, so we'll call it about a 31-yard attempt.
It's going to be a little short and a little wide, but a very nice job there by the holder, just getting the spot down. And, Carbonell had a perfect night up to then, but it's good. This is a good game to have that, take that chance, see what you can do. And so maybe there will come a game where the Cougars need those 3 points, and they'll know his range and his distance, and they can work on some things to tighten that up and improve.
Yeah, certainly if you want him to kind of learn and miss one now is you'd rather take it now than in a closer game. So taking over on downs is going to be Bishop Kearney with 1:26 left in the third quarter.
But the Cougars did a great job of that drive. Bishop Kearney recovered the kickoff to start the third quarter, moved deep into Cougar territory, big fourth down stop, and then the Cougars gained a lot of yardage, chewed up a lot of time, and really did what they need to do to make things difficult for the Kings for the rest of the night.
So Ross will pitch it out to his running back, 32. That's Rashad Beeson.
And that's a positive running play for the Kings. I do know they are going against probably more of the twos for the Cougars, and but right now for Bishop Kearney, it's about settling in making positive plays and trying to just move forward.
And another pitch play to Beeson. He's going to make one man miss, spin, and he'll get the first. But we do have a flag called by the back judge. It looked like there was a mass substitution there by the Cougar defense, and I'm not sure everybody that was supposed to get off the field got off, so they might have gotten called for 12 men on the field.
Or 13 or 14. it was like a hockey change. Doc Emmerich would have called a fire wagon change. And, it doesn't appear that it's going to hurt the Cougars too badly here. The HFL staff definitely wants to get as many players time tonight as they can. The score is in their favor, and this is a good chance to get a lot of people experience. But it will move the chains, and Bishop Kearney is out right now near midfield.
Yep, 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Interesting that they went with a sweep again on 2nd and short. I thought maybe they'd look to throw the ball just because they have maybe a play to play around with. But it'll be 1st and 10 here, and here comes the pass play. And there's the catch. And still on his feet. That'll be a first down for Kearney. That's number 8, Trevor Bahan.
And great effort there by Trevor. He, did a good job of catching the ball, securing it, and then making a play, making a couple of Cougars miss. And this has been the most efficient drive for the Kings so far.
So that'll be it for the third quarter. We'll segue to the fourth, but first we want to thank some of our sponsors, including Alexander Enterprises. For nearly 30 years, Alexander Enterprises has been one of Rochester's most trusted contractors. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before your next project at 624-9120. And Fly Control Services, a family-owned and operated pest control company serving all of Western New York and the Finger Lakes region for 4 decades. Inside or out, home or business, they'll help you keep the bugs away. Give them a call at 704-8329. And we do want to promo our Sentinel online digital accounts, starting with our website, mhflsentinel.com. You can visit the site, view the front page stories, and if you're a subscriber, you can see the full color edition of the weekly newspaper. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We have weekly posts linking those front page articles and some other cool content as well. So we now are in the fourth quarter of play, 1st and 10 for the Kings. We have a pitch here to Beeson.
Nice
He's
tackle.
Be stopped in the backfield.
That's our guy, 57. That's
Nolan Yates.
Nolan Yates. That's the 3rd or 4th tackle he's made tonight, Peter. He's really stood out. A couple on special teams. He's made a couple plays on defense. A very, very nice night for the 5'11", 170-pound senior. And we could see his number. It was right in front of us.
Yeah,
So
maybe if we're lucky, one of these other home games will get the pleasure of seeing HFL in their gray alternate uniforms, although if memory serves, I don't think those ones are much easier to read either, as we have a pass play on second down. That's Bonhan for the Kings, and he'll get first down yardage. Nice pickup there for Kearney, and they'll actually spot him inside the red zone here for Bishop Kearney.
That's the fourth first down for the Kings this half, and which is impressive. This is only their second possession. And Bonhan has done a nice job coming in and making some plays and developing some rapport with Ross.
So Ross will throw again to the end zone, and that's caught. Touchdown, Kings. That's number 11, Javi Flowers, the 6'4", 175 junior, assistant captain. And Bishop Kearney is on the board with 6 points. So HFL gives up their first touchdown of the season on a very good passing play between Ross and Flowers, and we've talked about that connection tonight a couple times.
We have, and that's the first time that they've been able to go over the top. We have seen Ross look to Flowers before. He hasn't had the time, or the accuracy's been a little bit off. That was a very well thrown ball, and Flowers went and got it too. He used all of that size to go get it and make a nice play.
So number 72 will kick.
That's CK they call him.
And that point after is no good. So the Kings will only walk away with 6, but points nonetheless.
Yep, that's Cheliston Kisinje. He's a 5'7" freshman, and that was a name we didn't know before the game, so I went over the Kearney bench, and they said, oh, you mean CK. So even the players on his team know it's easier and have given him a nickname, and just missed a little right and short there, but good for Bishop Kearney. They're on the board, and they had a nice series there, and they're looking to move forward towards next week's game. They've got Wayne. So the first 3 games, Peter, for the Kings, Schedule Maker didn't do them any favors. Those are what I would think are 3 of the top contenders to secure spots in Class B. So if Kearney can get through those games, I would expect them to be a lot more competitive the second half of the season.
Yeah, Wayne coming off a tough loss today to Batavia, who, despite the score, it was very much Batavia, but credit to the Wayne Eagles who made it respectable by the end of the game. So they will be home against Wayne next week, April 2nd.
And, that score was 48-30. Also in Class B today, Palmac gets its first win, 30-18 over Geneva. And Newark moves to 1-1 with a 14-0 win over Mid-Lakes. Mid-Lakes will be the Cougars' opponent next week.
So an onside kick is going to be recovered, but that's short of the 10-yard line. So that's going to be a penalty against the Kings. And that onside attempt brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com.
I really like that call by the Kings there. They've got nothing to lose, really. And, they just came off their best possession of the game. And why not keep the ball with the offense and get more reps? But now we'll see what the Cougars' second-team offense can do.
Yeah, and I do think they caught HFL a bit off guard. If they had maybe a little bit more on the kick, they would have been able to recover beyond 10. Young back in at quarterback for HFL after taking over during the last drive. A little bit sloppy handoff, but Chaparino able to bring it in, and he'll pick up 8 yards on that first down play.
Chaparino's been impressive, Peter. From the interception on defense when this was a close game, if you're looking for turning points, that interception could be one of the keys to the game. And then getting some time on offense. Yeah, the timing wasn't great on that play, and he was able to secure the ball, which with a soccer player, he might not have a lot of experience, but ball security was priority number 1. And then he made a couple of players miss, and he gained 8 yards. So that's another great play by number 5.
Yeah, that mesh point there on that exchange was a little tough, but In any case, it'll be 2nd and 2 for HFL. Young's going to hand off again to Chaparino. He'll gain.
Maybe got halfway there. I think it's going to be 3rd and short. But that's okay. That gives you another snap. It burns another 30 seconds. And right now I think Coach Russ and his staff want to see what some players can do, but they also want to keep the clock moving.
So it'll be 3rd and 2 here, we'll call it. Young comes into the huddle here, sharing the play with his teammates. They'll come out in the shotgun. Doubles, 2 receivers on each side. Chaparino to Young's right. Here's the snap. Handoff goes to Chaparino.
It's going to be close. A nice job by the Kearney defense. We see number 50, Jarrell Dorsey, getting up at the bottom of the pile, and they're going to mark them short. I thought that HFL might go for a measurement there, but this is the first time the Cougars have punted tonight. So and it looks like it's going to be Carbonell.
Yeah. We were again not sure if he was going to be able to go. He was just cleared medically for practice this week. He's going to have his first punt here. It's going to be the punt's going to be from about the 38-yard line. So we'll see if Carbonell can try and pin the Kings inside the 20-yard line. Kind of a rugby-style kick. It's going to have a bounce. Kearney's going to get it after the first bounce. And they're going to get the ball up to the 20-yard line. Look like
it was Bonin again, number 8. He's been one of the top players for the Kings the second half with 2 or 3 nice catches and then making the play there on special teams. He's only a sophomore, and so he will be around if he builds that chemistry with Ross. He's another name that and a player the Kings might be able to count on for the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, certainly. They do have some youth when you look at some of these skill guys. Starks, another sophomore, a handful of juniors. Darden being the one senior I'm seeing who starts. Daniel Garcia, who also gets some playing time at wide receiver, a senior. So you got a lot of youth, so you got to expect that if these guys stick with it, they are going to build that chemistry and those relationships. And as they get bigger, just because, keep in mind, freshman, sophomore, you're still kind of small because, you're just hitting puberty. So
yeah, physically, you need time to mature, and mentally too. Football being such a mental game. Ball's out. I think the Cougars may have jumped on it.
Yeah, it looked like Rashawn Beeson couldn't bring in the pitch there. Referee is going to call it a turnover for the Cougars. So the fumble is recovered by HFL, and they'll set up inside the red zone.
So nice job by the Cougars there. That the turnovers were a problem that Kearney had last week. Had cleaned it up quite a bit tonight. That's only the second turnover. They had 1 interception in the first half. But with that happening inside your own 20, that's detrimental, and it's tough to recover from. I would expect to see the Cougars continue what they were doing the first part of this quarter, keeping it on the ground and trying to get some chunks here or there and get some different looks for some different players.
Young and Chaparino in the backfield. Wouldn't that be great if they could get Cole Chaparino a rushing touchdown in this one?
Ooh, that was Beeson right there making a big play, atoning for that fumble. Good penetration in the backfield, and I think Kearney doesn't have a lot of depth on its roster, so a lot of these players are going the whole game, and you're seeing that when they are against some of the Cougar reserves, that there's some physical ability there that you may not see against the starters, but they're starting to make some nice plays on a more consistent basis.
So now under 6 here in the fourth quarter. Again, doubles is the formation for HFL. Young collects the snap. He's going to throw it, look to the end zone, and
nice.
That's going to be caught. Touchdown, number 8 for HFL. That's Andrew Childs.
Nice play right there. That was well done by both Young and Child. threw a ball up there where only he could get it. Nice, 20-yard pass, and a great adjustment. You love to see kids put in a position to make plays and come through, and that's what Childs did right there.
Yeah, went up, got the ball. I'd call it a fringe you've got mossed play, but great pitch and catch there between Young and Childs to find the Meehan Architecture end zone. Looks like there's some confusion here. Are they short a guy? Nope.
Looks like they want to restart the play clock, too, for the back judge. Sometimes it's a problem with the football, too.
And the snap and the hold, the kick's up, and it's good.
So 7 for 7 for Carbonell. That's pretty well done. And you got to be happy for Andrew Childs there, Peter. He's a senior. With all of the doubt about a season, with the fall season not happening, you feel good. Not that everybody said they would be grateful to get back out on the field, but now that they're out on the field competing, you're happy to see people have moments. I really believe sports are about moments, and now Andrew Childs has that moment.
Yeah, and that was his first catch of the season and a touchdown nonetheless. So awesome for the Cougars to extend that lead with some guys who don't get as much playing time, but nonetheless make the most of the opportunities that they're given.
And we can't make it through the broadcast without mentioning the shout-out from Jim Kelly. Did you see that on Instagram, Jim Kelly had the shout-out to HFL about a 2-minute thing this week? That was really cool. Yeah,
that was an awesome moment. He mentioned Reese Joint by name, saying, I know you have a big quarterback in Reese Joint who's going to pull everyone together, not only on the football field, but in the classroom. So an awesome moment from an awesome guy. So definitely cool for everybody within the school district. It wasn't just to the football team, as we have a squib kick along the turf, picked up by Kearney, and they'll get some decent field position at about the 33. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that kickoff was sponsored by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com.
And the cool thing about that, Jim Kelly must have had a heck of an advanced scouting report, because Reese Joint had a great game tonight with 4 touchdown passes. Whoever supplied Jim with the text for that or the advanced scouting was spot on.
Not only the scouting on Joint, but also he got some specific tips on how to pronounce Honeoye Falls-Lima, which is not the easiest for people outside of the 585 area.
Yeah, especially with Jim being from Western Pennsylvania, that he can give you Aliquippa and all of those, but Honeoye and Ketchiqua, I bet some of those other ones that are local here might be a little bit of a curveball for the Hall of Famer.
So it looks like we have a timeout on the field.
And Jim looked good on the video too, which is always good considering everything that he's been through. There was a lot of energy, and I asked Brian Donahue about it, and there's no specific Honeoye Falls-Lima connection, but somehow they got hooked up with Jim Kelly for that promo, and that was pretty cool.
So that'll be the second Bishop Kearney timeout. Do you need a timeout? Take a break with Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe located at 58 Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Coffee, espresso, smoothies, shakes, paninis, salads, and more. Be sure to check out their daily specials on Facebook.
So 3 minutes left here. I think Bishop Kearney's going to look to have one more solid drive and try and get one more touchdown. They scored in the waning seconds, I believe, the final play against Batavia last week. So I think for them it's about finishing strong. For Honeoye Falls-Lima, it's about trying to make some plays and keep them out of the end zone.
And if they can score again, they'll match their 12 points they had a week ago against the Blue Devils. Ross is going to pass. That's a reception by Flowers, and then he gets some yards after the catch. It'll be a first down at around the 45-yard line, enough to move the chains, and we're now under 3.
That's the Kings' 5th first down this half. It looks like Ross is starting to find some timing, particularly with Flowers and also with with number 8, Trevor Bonin.
Flowers pass again. This time to number 10, Daniel Garcia, the 5'8", 170 senior. He had to lay out to catch that one. High school rule: soon as the player's on the turf, play is dead. So it'll only be a pickup of 2 yards. He probably could have gotten some more, but again, down by the ground.
And a great effort by Garcia. He got right up, and you love to see that with the score this way. There's no give up there. And Flowers going to try to make a play on that ball. Good adjustment. A little bit underthrown there by Ross, but you can see that Flowers is a playmaker.
So the clock will stop at 2:02. No 2-minute warning, of course, in high school football. 2nd and 8 for Bishop Kearney.
And I think they're going to continue running. Well, it's third and long, which is a situation they've been accustomed to all night. But I think we're going to look for Ross and Flowers here again.
Quick pass to Flowers. Trying to break that first tackle. Takes a trio of Cougars to finally bring him down. He's about 2 yards short, now inside the HFL territory.
But a super effort there. I mean, if that's an incomplete pass, it's 4th and 8, and not that the Kings wouldn't have gone for it, but this is much more makeable, and it gives them a chance to succeed and make another chance at first down. I wonder if they're going to go with that heavy H back. Now they've got Ross back there, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a run.
And it's going to be Ross who just tosses it out to Patton, who's going to get more than enough for the first. So heads up play there by Ross. It looked like he thought about just running it, and the maturity shown there where he can just, hey, there's a guy right there. Why not just toss it to him, you know?
Yep.
Why do I have to be the one who suffers the hit, you know?
Open space, a little bit like Josh Allen and Dawson Knox in the playoffs.
Yeah, that shot put pass by Allen was impressive as Ross rifles one in there, but it's incomplete.
Yeah, that was towards Byron Starks, who's also the backup quarterback for the Kings, and he's a sophomore. So between Ross and Starks, the Kings definitely have a couple of players to build upon.
So the clock stops at 48. 2nd and 10. Ball at the 39 for Bishop Kearney. And we're going to get, it looks like, a timeout. So that'll be the 3rd and final timeout by Bishop Kearney. Do you need a timeout? Take a break with Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe located at 58 North Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Coffee, espresso, smoothies, shakes, paninis, salads, pizza, and more. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials.
And Peter, with less than a minute left here, it's a certainty that the Cougars are going to move to 2-0 and really set themselves up nicely for heading into next week, the midway point of the season. They'll catch Mid-Lakes. The Screaming Eagles, Dave Whitcomb, a Hall of Fame coach in Section 5, is back with them. They're 0-2. And then back here on April 8th against Wayne. I think that's a game that folks should circle on their calendar because, Wayne could be a top contender, and that should be a really good measuring stick for HFL when they get to that, and then have a pretty good feel about how the playoff picture is shaping up.
Yeah, when the schedule came out, it definitely seemed like HFL, those last 3 weeks, are really going to give us a good picture as to how they should fare in the playoffs as Ross fires it in to Flowers yet again and another first down.
Yeah, I mean, with 8 teams and a 6-week season, HFL and Batavia, the only way that they can meet is in the sectionals, and I think that would be a very highly anticipated matchup if it came to fruition.
So the Kings spike the ball there. They're out of timeouts. They stop the clock with 29 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter.
But they're winding the clock. The referees somehow...
I think it was that he attempted to spike the ball and he
took a knee first.
Well, I think the exchange between the center and the quarterback wasn't there, so he put a knee down to pick up the ball to then spike it. And again, with a knee down, he was down, so they had to had to run the spike play again.
So the play was dead before it started, and now it's 3rd down and 10. I think they're going to have to take their end zone shots here.
21 to go, 3rd and 10. Ross collects the snap. He's going to fire it towards the end zone, and that's nearly intercepted by HFL, number 22 for the Cougars. Not on our depth chart, but that's...
He must be near the end of the alphabet. Yep, it's Jaden Kuhn. So 5'8" senior getting some action here, and almost was able to make that interception. Here we go on 4th down.
Looks like Ross is just going to call his own number, step out of bounds short of the 1st down marker, so that's going to be a turnover on downs. Runs out of bounds on 4th down, short of the line to gain, so the Cougars will get the ball with 6.8, and the clock's going to run, so that will do it here at HFL. The Honeoye Falls-Lima Cougars defeat the Bishop Kearney Kings by a score of 42-6. HFL going to play Mid-Lakes next week, and Bishop Kearney will be facing Wayne. I'm Peter Carosa, joined alongside Steve Bradley. Any closing thoughts, Steve, before we sign off?
I think it was just an impressive outing by the Cougars. Both coaches told us that they wanted to improve from week 1 to week 2. I think both teams did get better. The Cougars seem to be on a great trajectory heading towards a possible postseason berth. And 2 weeks in, I think Coach Russ has to be thrilled with where his team is.
Yeah, like we said at the top of the broadcast, that week-to-week progression, it looked very good for the Cougars. I think the Kings maybe are going to go back in this short week and try and evaluate and see what they can do to prepare for Wayne. But in any case, it was a good game nonetheless. So thanks for tuning in from all of us at the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. We look forward to being back here in 2 weeks, April 8th, the game against Wayne. So until then, thanks for tuning in.